Good morning. Good morning. How are we? How are we doing this morning? Oh, we'll do that. Hello, Heavy. Hello, Darkbreaker, Draco, Sailor Moon. Sailor, how 7 days to die? You're doing good here? Good, good, good. It is Botan. Good morning. Good morning. I know we don't have a few of the things. What's going on here? My other light was not working. Oh, what the fuck? I don't know. Darkbreaker, look at you. Currently on a 3-stream streak. Good morning. Thank you very, very much for that. Hello, Deadwalk. How are you? Shelly's, how are you doing today? I'm really excited because we're going to be discussing Shaun of the Dead today on Coffee Chat of Horrors. But I figure we'll just get started with our good mornings and then we'll get into the serious stuff in a few minutes. How you doing today, Deadwalk? Making sure chat's popping up correctly.
ReAnimateHer.
Awesome. Thank you, Shellys. I will check it out as soon as the stream is done. Right now, my Discord is behind the trailer that we're going to be doing here. But I will take a look at it in just a moment, in a little bit. Shaun of the Dead. Glad I brought my cricket bat. Hello, Dahi. Good morning. How are you? 7 days is good. Just took care of a few things. Gonna wait for some to go scavenging with me. Hint, hint. I will be there. Good morning, serial killer. Hello, hello. Thank you, Deadwalk, for the Discord. I appreciate it. Fuck you, Serial. Serial wants to play Texas Chainsaw Massacre sometime today as well. But good morning, guys. Good morning. I hope y'all are having a great weekend. I'm really excited as this is the last Coffee Chat of Horrors for 2023. However, in 2024, Coffee Chat of Horrors comes back full time. That means every Sunday we will be back into the swing of things. Also come in January, we'll also be doing the CCOH trivia. So after we discuss CCOH, the trivia will then come into effect. We'll have some pretty cool stuff to win, some digital stuff to win. Look at Heavy over here, 15 streak watch. Thank you, Bam. Thank you. Yeah. We'll do a trivia come January. There's going to be quite a few changes come January. New year, new thing, new fun things to do, guys. Hello, Macabre. How are you? Good. Just waiting for the coffee to finish brewing. Nice. This is my second cup. My second cup. Of course, it's a Coffee Chat of Horrors cup. Can't do CCOH and not use my own friggin' cup. But yes, thank you very much, Shellys, for your 3-stream streak. I greatly appreciate it. Seriously, thank you. And if Monkey was here, it would be the 3 C's. If y'all know what the 3 C's are. I've been cooking and playing games all morning long. Nice. What have you been cooking? Fuck, Monkey. Shelly's coming in with the hat trick. Nice. Nice. Greatly appreciated. Serial wants to fuck Monkey. Just talk about it, and I think Monkey will pop up in the chat. Bread, garlic, confit, and made some nice ranch dressing mix. Oh, that reminds me, we need to take something out for supper. I have no idea what we're having for supper tonight. I always forget. to take something out, but we won't have to because HelloFresh is coming back on Monday. It's usually the weekends. I forget to take stuff out for supper. I don't know if anybody else is like that on the weekend. You have chili? Delicious. Delicious. I don't know if anybody else is like that. On the weekends, you just forget to eat. I need a mug with something along the lines of middle fingers. Just an entire mug covered in middle fingers. Hey, Deadwalk? Leftovers? I don't know, babe. Whatever. We've got plenty. We've got chicken. We've got hamburger. Hi, how are you, Shoku Panu? How are you? No, don't apologize for not being here. Life happens. Understandable. Definitely understandable. Melon! Oh, name change. Hi, Mikey. How are you? Yeah, that sounds delicious. Mm-hmm. As you can tell, we have chat for all three areas on the overlay here. Hopefully you guys can see them. I always forget to eat by my gay buddy. Always tests me in the morning to eat. Yeah, because he says, if you don't eat, no titties. That's what he says to you, I know. We've missed you as well, Melon. I do hope everything is going well in your life now. It is very nice to see you, but we do get it. Life happens. It happens to all of us. Yeah, boobs everywhere. Got to start doing this weekly. I got to keep eating at home. I've got to fix this one side. He does threaten me with no titties. Yeah, he does. He does. I know he does. Everything has been good. Just so tired from work, man. I get that. Trust me. I understand it. I can empathize with it. I work full time myself, and then I come and do all of this fun stuff afterwards. So I get it, and it sucks. I hate adulting. It really does blow. For those of you, if this is your first time here during a coffee chat of horrors, for the first few minutes we sit, we welcome everybody in, we say good mornings, and then I go into our new scene, and I will play my disclaimer because sometimes we talk about some really horrific stuff in here because it's horror. So we go through a disclaimer. I do like to stay on track. You guys can ask questions all you like. I will write them down and I will answer them as I go. I try to stay on track for CCOH because there's a lot of information that I compress for an hour and a half. So I always try to get that shit in. Then we talk, we laugh, we bring up whatever. However, if you know me, I get sidetracked. I just want to try to stay on track for CCOH, for all of the meat and potatoes, and then everything else we can do after. But you guys can ask questions. You can keep chatting. You can chat among you in the chat. That is not a problem whatsoever. Adulting does suck, Shoku. I 100% agree. Adulting should be against the law. It should be. It really should. And I'll be here, keep reminding Ra to get on track. I know. It's so bad. I'm really horrible for that. And this is because we all start talking about something that I am still interested in. And then we just go off track. But yes, adulting does suck. And please ask questions. You can chat among yourself as well. One day she'll ban me. No, not at all, Deadwalk. Not at all. Exactly, Shoku. Exactly. When you have fun and you're talking about things, you can talk about it for hours. You get sidetracked. And, it's not like you're sitting there bored or like Colin Robinson from What We Do in the Shadows trying to eat all of your energy by telling you something boring, right? I know. Cereal's always distracting me. The Macabre Tavern with those good eats should make it easier. It definitely does. We should get paid for adulting better than what we already do if we have to do it. I think it's bullshit. I definitely do. Colin Robinson. Yeah. Oh, nice. Come back. Snooze. Who? Nobody likes Colin Robinson. Nobody. That little energy vampire. We will probably do a CCOH in the new year on the TV series because it's one of my favorites. It's What We Do in the Shadows is one of my favorite movies of all times. See, Heavy, she is picking on me. Get ready for the Serial Waters interview. That's funny. Yeah. You can talk about how I abuse all my friends. I beat them. So do I, Dahi. What We Do in the Shadows is one of my favorite comfort films of all time. And then the TV show as well. I can watch the TV show over and over and over. It's one of my favorites. I don't know how many times I've seen the TV show. Like, we play it all the time. It's just a nice, happy place to go to. All right, since we welcomed everybody in, hi, I found your channel recently. Love the vibe and the aesthetic. Love horror. Have a great stream. Well, thank you, DDJP. We are doing Coffee Chat of Horrors today, and we're going to dive into it. But thank you for the beautiful compliment. I hope you have an awesome day yourself. Oh, my God. It played twice. Yeah, it's such a great time. And you hear Freddy Krueger welcome you in as well. I mean, who else but then one of the amazing cult classic slashers of all time is Nightmare on Elm Street. All right, let's get this party started. We're going to head into our coffee chat of horrors. Freddie is such a comfort. He really is. Never heard of her? You are funny. Of course, DDJP, welcome. Well, we are going to be doing coffee chat of horrors, so sit back and enjoy. Why didn't it switch? Come on, switch. Kick it, right? That's what I want to do.
Scary movies and coffee.
The following show is based on research on horror movies and what goes on behind the scenes of your favorite scary movies. Horde Entertainment or ReAnimateHer is not responsible for the macabre and horror that you are about to witness. Viewer discretion is advised.
And that is our disclaimer to make sure that you guys know. Batman! I see Bats made it in. How are you, Bats? So our disclaimer, that needs to be a t-shirt. I can turn that into a t-shirt, Deadwalk. I can definitely turn that into a t-shirt. That disclaimer there is to warn everybody that this is a horror web show, that sometimes we'll be talking about things that may be triggering or disturbing. And on that note, good morning, Daywalkers. I am ReAnimateHer, your queen of horror, and this is Coffee Chat of Horrors, the only horror show that likes its coffee. Like, basically, like having every hand has had a dick in it, yeah. The only horror show that takes its coffee like it's magic, and that is black. Today, I am drinking from Deadly Grounds. It's delicious. Never Sleep Again roast. It's a medium roast, actually, and it is deadly delicious. I love Deadly Grounds coffee. If you haven't checked them out, please do so. I am not affiliated with them. I just buy their coffee. Today we'll be talking about Simon Pegg and Edgar Wright's cult classic, Shaun of the Dead. So make sure you slap on that SPF 666 and grab yourself a bloody bucket of brains, and let's begin the show. For those of you that don't know, Shaun of the Dead was released in 2004, and it is a horror comedy. I don't know how many people here have seen it. If you haven't seen it, please stop wasting your own time and definitely check it out. It is one of my favorite horror comedies. It's a timeless classic. It is a cult classic. And, it has a lot of awesome information about the show today and where it came from, how it started, and, about a sequel. Hi, Steve. How are you? For those of you that haven't seen it, we are going to watch the trailer right now of Shaun of the Dead. I know YouTube hates when I do this. But anyways, here we are, Shaun of the Dead. Let's check it out. Make sure if you don't hear it, let me know, and I will turn up the volume.
Think that modern life is not for you? Do you do the same dead-end job every day? Is your love life dying on its feet?
Two wonderful months.
Have you ever felt that you're turning into
the end of the world.
a zombie? Maybe you're not alone.
Piss it.
Although no one official is prepared to comment, religious groups are calling it Judgment Day.
It is vital that you stay in your homes. Avoid all physical contact with the assailants.
So, what's the plan?
Bash him in the head, that seems to work out.
Why have we got to go Lizzie?
Because I love her.
All right, gay.
Do something! Right there.
Hold it there.
I'm coming!
Now, I don't know why it was low to begin with, which is super weird, but it's always Twitch. Always Twitch has the issue. That I have noticed with Twitch, every time we do something, it's crazy. Every time we do something, we find that it's Twitch has the problem. Now, why is that not working correctly? But it's weird. I left all the sounds on because, I just left all the sounds on. But yeah, Shaun of the Dead is such a good such a good movie. And I'm trying to find out why my Shaun of the Dead is not working correctly on the image side of things. Why it's not being shown. But anyways, it's weird, horophobic, right? She Kratos, how are you doing this morning? Thank you very much for popping in. Yeah, that's why I like watching your streams on YouTube, because Twitch always has an issue. Yeah, I don't know what it is when it comes to all of that stuff. Twitch always has a problem, and I'm not 100% sure why. It's quite strange. But anyways, Shaun of the Dead was released in 2004 by Simon Pegg and Edgar Wright. It is a zombie comedy film, and it stars Simon Pegg himself and Nick Frost, as well as Kate Ashfield. And I do have to say thank you to Reaper 1923 for these awesome visuals that you see here. She Kratos fucked up the trailer. It's okay. I'm sure YouTube is gonna hate both of them because they just don't like that stuff. Anyways, this has become a cult classic over the years. The movie has not only revitalized the zombie genre with its unique blend of horror and comedy, but it also showcased the creative brilliance of its talented team, which it really is. This movie is brilliant. The way they do things and the storylines, the homages that they played to the zombie genre itself is pretty fucking awesome. There is not just Night of the Living Dead or Dawn of the Dead or any of that in here. It's a ton of zombie nods and films that was created Shaun of the Dead. And in this coffee chat of horrors, we'll dive into some of the fascinating behind-the-scenes details that contributed to the charm of this iconic film. Now, the birth of Shaun of the Dead. How did they think of Shaun of the Dead, right? Now, the inception of Shaun of the Dead can be tracked back to a specific episode in the British sitcom called Space, where Simon Pegg's character, Tim, has an hallucination of a zombie invasion while playing a video game on amphetamines. Yeah. Did you know that there was a TV series that was going on in the UK? It was called Spaced. And it is a comedy TV series that helped birth Shaun of the Dead. This planted the seed for the film's concept, with Edgar Wright and Pegg expanding the idea into a full-fledged zombie comedy. I have looked for Spaced. I have found it. So if you are in the United Kingdom, you can actually check it out. It's called Spaced, S-P-A-C-E-D. And it is a TV show that Simon Pegg was starring in. And it's actually funny from what I've seen in the trailer. Like, I went to YouTube to see if I can find it on YouTube, because it's really hard to get BBC here in Canada. I don't know about the United States, but it could be hard for you guys. If not, it's on YouTube. You can check it out. Yeah. No, but I have information on a second Shaun of the Dead, and it wasn't going to be Shaun of the Dead. I have a question, Reanimator. Do you prefer Shaun or Sean or Sean? Fucking English sucks. S-H-A-U-N. from my understanding, is the spelling of Shaun. But yeah, you are right. There are 3 spellings of the name Shaun. And it's definitely, for this movie, Shaun. Shaun of the Dead. I want to say that's probably the British version of spelling Shaun, because you have the Sean and then the Shawn, which I think is weird. There's BBC America. Not sure if they have the show. Definitely check it out. It's called Spaced. Now, this movie was choreographed down to the T. There was no room for improvisation. So basically improv, a lot of the times films like this, like the TV show, had improv. This film had no room for improv. This was all written down and everything was done precisely the way it was supposed to be. Is Shaun of the Dead worth watching for an amateur zombie fan? Celtic, good morning. And yes, Shaun of the Dead is a horror comedy based with more comedy than horror, but is a really great balance, which is super hard to do in a horror comedy. So if you haven't seen Shaun of the Dead, I am going to go into spoilers today, but it is a show, it is a movie that you need to watch. It is funny. It has a great blend of comedy and horrific visuals. It can be a little bit of a tearjerker in some scenes, but there is a really nice balance of both. Which, definitely go and see it, Celtic. I would see it. Now, this is where Nick Frost actually does his debut as an actor. Believe it or not, Shaun of the Dead is his very first movie. This is how he got into acting. This is how he started his whole career. He was a waiter when Simon met him. And this is where Frost is the shit. I know. Nick Frost is awesome. He's one of my favorites. I love him. And I love him in Shaun of the Dead. Now, prior to this film, like I said earlier, Frost was a waiter. And his friendship with Simon Pegg led to the supporting role in this film. Now, he had a supporting role on Spaced, but it wasn't anything too big. And despite the lack of his acting experience, because Frost did not have a lot of acting experience, again, he was a waiter. That was his full-time job. Could you imagine him being your waiter? Like, what? Yeah. So he did a small supporting role on Spaced, which was his very first. And then Shaun of the Dead was his very first actual feature where he played the support role in Shaun of the Dead. So yeah, Shoku, it's pretty amazing that he did such an awesome job. No training as an actor whatsoever. But I would have loved it if he was my waiter. Like, I love Frost. I think he is amazing. You'll forget the spoilers, Celtic? Not a problem. Yeah, true. Some of the later scenes at the pub, right? That's one of my favorite scenes is at the Winchester. But yeah, it was his first acting debut, his full acting debut in a film. He did an amazing job. His performance in Shaun of the Dead showcased his natural comedic talent and laid the foundation for a very successful acting career. Because he's been in numerous films with with Simon and without Simon. And we do know that there is a trilogy that started with Shaun of the Dead, right? Hello, Moon. How are you? How are you? I can be a waiter. The fuck you want, bitch? Now you'll eat you'll eat what I bring. But I do think he would be awesome to have as a waiter. I hope you're having a good day, Moon. Welcome to Coffee Chat of Horrors. We are doing our deep dive into Shaun of the Dead, one of my favorite horror comedies. Now, there are tons of cameos in this film, but if you're not from the UK and you don't know the United Kingdom or British comedians that were in here, you would have no idea that they were cameos and you would have thought that they were just the actors. However, there are a ton of cameos from British comedians, adding to the comedic richness. These appearances enhance the overall entertainment value for fans of British humor. And little does anybody know, maybe you guys might know this, this film was inspired by real events. No worries, Shoku. Have a great day. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you enjoy your weekend. This video will be on VOD, so it will be cut down and smaller and posted on YouTube. So if you have to skedaddle for the day, go for it. No problems. You'll be able to catch this on my podcast, YouTube as a VOD, and here on Twitch if you want to get the whole unedited experience. So no worries about it. I'll flash you later. Reaper, how are you? And this is Reaper 1923, my partner in crime for CCOH. He is the one who creates all of the visuals that you see right here next to us. Yep. That is where I get my artwork from. And I'm pretty happy about that. Let's close that out there. But if you got to leave and drop a lurk, I'm going to come to your house and lick all your food. Licking food, hey? Okay, so Shaun of the Dead was inspired by real events. Real events. Good morning, Dylan. How are you? Edgar Wright's unique inspiration for the film's premise came from his obliviousness to the 2001 foot and mouth disease outbreak in the United Kingdom. I don't know if anybody heard of foot and mouth disease, but we also call it foot and hoof disease. A lot of horses would come down with this kind of disease, but foot and mouth disease is highly contagious and usually runs rampant around children because the children are dirty little germ beasts to begin with. So hoof and mouth,
Almost
it is
every
not
hand
pleasant.
you've ever
My spawns
shaken
have
has
had
a
it when
dick
they're
in
in their younger years. It is something that children receive because they play in dirt, they don't wash their hands, they pick up food off the floor. It usually runs rampant across children. However, it does get passed to adults because of their parents. Yeah, you got it from your nephew? Yeah, I never had it, but the spawns had it when they were little. Disease-ridden crotch goblins. You got that right, Gen X. You've got that right. I suffered from foot and ass from my mom disease. Really cannibal. Good morning, good morning. Welcome to Coffee Chat of Horrors. But yes, there was an outbreak, a nasty outbreak in 2001 in the UK, and it hit adults and children. This real life experience influenced the portrayal of characters in this movie who remain unaware of the impending zombie invasion, providing a fresh perspective on apocalyptic theme. So yeah, this was inspired by true events, maybe not a true zombie event, but by true events. Foot and mouth disease is nasty. Now, we know that this has also sprung a trilogy called the Cornetto Trilogy. And Shaun of the Dead is the first installment in Edgar Wright's three-flavored Cornetto Trilogy. If you haven't seen these guys' films, please go and check them out. It is a virus, Celtic. Foot and mouth disease, or hoof and mouth disease, is a virus that, of course, not washing your hands, you will get it. So you touch something that has this virus upon it, you touch it, it's in your mouth, it's highly contagious, it goes on your hands, your mouth, and your feet, hence why it's called foot and mouth disease. Again, your children are usually the culprits of passing this along because they're at daycare, they put toys in their mouths, things, and you know what I mean. That's how you get it. And Reaper is in the UK. And you remember the 2001 foot and mouth outbreak. It was not good. No, but it wasn't a murderous virus. We're going to see if we can snooze this ad break coming in. But the next one will be a perfect time for you guys to get up and get something to drink if you want to. I know someone who had it recently. Yeah. It wasn't life-threatening. It didn't murderize a bunch of people. It just caused a massive virus infection. Think of pink eye getting loose on everybody. It was a pandemic. It really was, because it was affecting everybody, and it's highly contagious. Now, if you don't know the three flavors of the Cornetto trilogy, Shaun of the Dead is number one. That is the first installment, and each film in the trilogy features a different flavor of Cornetto ice cream in Shaun of the Dead. The World's End. Have you guys seen The World's End and Hot Fuzz? The trilogy of the Cornetto trilogy. So this is what it is, and it's basically the ice cream. It is the ice cream, the strawberry flavored ice cream, symbolizing the prevalent blood in this film. So the three films in total will be Shaun of the Dead, World's End, and Hot Fuzz. I'm definitely going to tell you guys to watch all three films because they are amazing films. World's End is one of the best sci-fi comedies, 110%. No worries, LK. Welcome, welcome. If you're just joining us, it is Coffee Chat of Horrors. It is our deep dive into Shaun of the Dead. I recommend drinking heavily during World's End. Yes. Hot Fuzz is great. They're all good. 100% dahi. And that is Shaun of the Dead is the very first installment of the Cornetto. And it happens to so is that it's Edgar Wright's favorite flavor of ice cream as well. And they always stop. There's actually a place called Cornetto and Cornetto ice cream. So that is where they get it from. I've seen those movies. Great work and very funny, intriguing. It is. They do. I don't know what it is about Simon Pegg and Edgar Wright. They're able to blend a beautiful bouquet of horror and comedy and sci-fi. World's End is a sci-fi horror. It works. It definitely friggin' works. Hot Fuzz is more of a cop action comedy than it would be a horror. But the way they blend their comedy in with their action or their comedy in with their horror, it's very well done. Cornettos are good, at least the US version are. Yeah, poor UK has had it bit bad in their history for outbreaks. The plague and all of that shit in the 1800s. A lot of people over there back then too, right? I remember Hot Fuzz got me through a few long nights when I was working second shift front desk. Yeah, we own all three of those films. If you haven't seen all three of them, please go and do yourself a favor, watch them. They will soon become your favorites. They definitely will. I know they're mine. I know Heavy is always watching either Hot Fuzz. The World's End, I haven't watched as many times as Hot Fuzz, because Hot Fuzz, we constantly rewatch Hot Fuzz. I don't know. I have all three on DVD and on my Plex. Nice, Darkbreaker. They took a cue from Japanese filmmakers and just completely erased the. They did, but see the problem with most horror comedies, Gen X, is that they don't mesh well together. There are very few horror comedies that are chef's kiss. We've seen a lot of horror comedies happen, and you're just like, that fell short. Look at Saturday the 14th, right? Saturday the 14th is a horror comedy from, I want to say, the late 80s, but yet it still falls flat. And I guarantee you probably many of you have not seen it. There's very few horror comedies that perfectly blend the horror in with their comedy. Shaun of the Dead is one of them. One of the next ones that we're going to be talking about, one of my most favorite, is Tucker and Dale vs. Evil. That'll be another Coffee Chat of Horrors come in the new year. Yes, they did Cannibal. We spoke about Spaced earlier. Spaced is a British comedy, is a British TV series which spawned Shaun of the Dead, actually, Cannibal. So Simon Pegg, who played Tim, the reason why Shaun of the Dead was created was because Tim had a hallucination during an amphetamine trip where there were zombies, and that sparked the seed of Shaun of the Dead. And then Simon Pegg and Edgar Wright sat down and basically hashed out Shaun of the Dead. We do have an ad break coming up here, so I'm going to allow this ad break to happen, and we're just going to sit here and talk about upcoming stuff and get off sidetrack because of the ad that is popping in here. Most horror comedies these days are making fun of or other horror that combining the genres. Very true. And Gen X Tucker and Dale is one of my most favorite horror comedies. And this ad is going to be starting in 34 seconds, so Just a heads up, if you're over on YouTube, you guys get the pleasure of ad-free viewing until it becomes a VOD. Once it's a VOD, then unfortunately you are stuck with ads. Hallucinating, lucky butt. I just get slight brain regulations with mine. Oh, that sucks. That blows. I already watched my favorite stupid ass fuck holiday horror this year, Santa Slays. I love Santa Slays. It's my number one favorite. It is my number one favorite Christmas horror. Hello, RCA. We are doing Coffee Chat of Horrors deep dive into Shaun of the Dead. That is what we are doing here today. Try mushrooms. Ooh, they're fun. The World's End always makes me want to do a pub crawl. It makes me never want to do a pub crawl again. Rod, did you know that Simon Pegg, one of his fave games is House of the Dead? Yes, I do. I have that information here as well. I did a lot of deep diving into into Simon and Edgar. And that's how I know about the strawberry flavored ice cream. The strawberry flavored ice cream is one of Edgar's favorite ice cream flavors. And that's how you got the Cornetto trilogies, because the Cornetto ice cream. Goldberg met his wife making that movie. Do you know that movie was done in Wetaskiwin, Alberta, and that the majority of the crew of Santa Slays was Jewish, and they created a Christian movie, a Christian Christmas movie, and the majority of them are Jewish. It was fucking hilarious. I did a Christmas version of Coffee Chat of Horrors, Santa Slay edition. It's over on my YouTube channel. If anybody is actually into watching any of my VODs, I did a Christmas special that mashed Santa Slays and numerous other Christmas horrors together in a CCOH deep dive. Cars cost less than Wetaskiwin. Everything costs less than Wetaskiwin. I'd venture that dating actresses is safer than dating female wrestlers. Probably. Santa Slays is so underrated. It really is. Yes, we have an ad that it will be ending here in 45 seconds and counting, and we'll get back to our normal scheduled information here. Thank you very much, Celtic, for letting us know. Can show you the way.
Oh, hello, creeps.
Wet ass kiwi. Wetaskiwin. Yeah, Wetaskiwin. It's down the road for me. I knew that you would know that, Ra. That's why I stick to the graphics and leave the research to you, and I appreciate that. He's also a really huge fan of the zombie genre, Simon Pegg, and he was so ecstatic to do one of the zombie movies by Romero, and we are going to actually talk about that as well. The ad break is done. For those of you, welcome back to Coffee Chat of Horrors. Did you guys know that they were thinking of doing a sequel? And no, it wasn't going to be Shaun of the Dead 2. It was going to be From Dusk Till Shaun. I love that title, From Dusk Till Shaun, on the play of words on From Dusk Till Dawn, that vampire film with the gorgeous Salma Hayek, and it is a Tarantino. It would have been From Dusk Till Shaun and Shauner of the Dead, Shaun Harder. I love that, though. I thought that was great. From Dusk Till Shaun. And that would have been the sequel. They were thinking about it, Dracos. They were thinking about it. And while the idea of a sequel titled From Dusk Till Shaun was often joked about by Simon Pegg and Edgar Wright, it never materialized. However, the concept found a very playful afterlife, with a poster appearing in the Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. So if you've seen Into the Spider-Verse by Spider-Man, you'll actually see the concept poster of From Dusk Till Shaun. Shaun Harder, the porn version. So who doesn't love Salma Hayek? Damn. That would have been the shit. It would have been, I think it would have been funny, because then they could have done the whole vampire thing. You know what I mean? But anyway, do you know that George Romero, loved Shaun of the Dead? And he was so impressed by this film that he invited Pegg and Wright to work with him.
Gladly feast on
In
those
Land
bits
of the Dead
yours.
2005. He also invited them as a cameo on there, and they are in there if you can pull them out. And if you haven't seen Romero's Land of the Dead in 2005, go and see it. Romero's zombie films are amazing. Quentin and his little foot kink. That's why he wrote himself in From Dusk Till Dawn. And he has that scene where Thelma Hayek puts her foot into his mouth, and she, runs the alcohol down her leg and in on her foot and into his mouth. That scene was written for him so he can, yeah. They cameoed in Land of the Dead. Yes, they did. They definitely did. You check out Land of the Dead if you haven't seen it. It's a zombie film. It's not a zombie comedy. It's a Romero film. I would definitely suggest checking it out. Now, we know in Shaun of the Dead that, right, Dead End? That's a great title. We know that in Shaun of the Dead, they never explain the zombie invasion. They never do. And still to this day, nobody knows what the fuck caused the zombie invasion. And they purposely left that out. They purposely left it out so that you can make up your own thing. They explain a little bit, and they always keep the mystery to it, but they explain a little bit, and they emphasize the characters' how oblivious they are to the apocalypse that's going around them. As you remember, Shaun wakes up and he goes down to the shop. He does his average thing that he does all the time, where he gets down to the shop. He sees all the people in the streets, the boy playing soccer, the guy washing his car. He goes into the little deli, gets looks for his drink and gets his stuff in the newspaper. And he doesn't realize the bloody handprint that's on the glass in the shop. He doesn't see that the guy washing his car is no longer there and that the child is now a zombie. Well, they leave it out intentionally, right? And you remember when they're in the... Hello, monkey. You remember when they're sitting in their living room and he's flipping through channels, right? And each news broadcast that you see, those people in the news broadcast, they were real. They actually played themselves. And each time he flips through the channel, it actually creates a complete sentence of what's happening. Now we're back to Tarantino. Tarantino's foot fixation has been the subject of many jokes. Kind of creepy that he writes these parts to indulge his kink, but I'm thinking the actors know what's up. I think if you're working with Tarantino, Gen X, you know. I think. Because he's not shy about it. Wasn't the speculation about a probe returning to space a nod to Night of the Living Dead? Yes, there was. Deadwalk, you are right about that, because a lot of what you see in Shaun of the Dead is from Night of the Living Dead, as well as Dawn of the Dead. There are a few scenes. You guys remember the scene with, I can't remember his name at the moment, but the boyfriend of the girl in Shaun of the Dead, and they're in the pub and he gets taken out by the window and they're just ripping him up and he's screaming. That is from a very, very, very popular zombie film. Those homages you spoke of, Ra, yes. Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead. There's a lot of Romero love in Shaun of the Dead. David, that's it, David. Yep. But I thought that was pretty cool. And every time I watch Shaun of the Dead, I always see something new. I've seen Shaun of the Dead probably 1,000,000 times. A couple of weekends ago, Heavy and I did a double feature of Shaun of the Dead and Tucker and Dale vs. Evil. Hence why I got the idea of doing a CCOH on Shaun of the Dead and Tucker and Dale vs. Evil. So Tucker and Dale vs. Evil will be coming in the new year. It's my favorite. Now, this movie's impact extends beyond its runtime, with various trivia tidbits enriching your viewing experience, which it does. So throughout the movie, there's a lot of trivia in that movie, a lot of homage as well in this film. And you can pull it out just by watching it. From the real inspiration behind Shaun of the Dead and Shaun and Ed's friendship, Shaun of the Dead remains a treasure trove of behind-the-scenes anecdotes, which a lot of it is the House of the Dead. that Reaper was saying was Simon Pegg's favorite video game on the Dreamcast, and it is, hence what they're playing in the movie themselves. I'm sick. I'm a sick puppy who enjoys seeing people being ripped apart. Who doesn't, though? Body horror is great, Dracos. You should see some of the films I watch. You'd question me. Where is the other piece? Where did that? Oh, there we go. But yeah, House of the Dead was one of my favorite video games in the arcade. When I was a young demon playing in the arcade, you had House of the Dead. It's a very awesome game. And who didn't have a Dreamcast? I didn't have a Dreamcast. My cousins did, and I was able to play with their Dreamcasts. Oh, there we go. Welcome back, Shirley's. Welcome back. I was Team Nintendo. I had a Nintendo in 1985, yes. The Cornetto Brain Cone would make a sick tattoo. It would make a really cool tattoo. Your favorite is House of the Dead Overkill? Fuck, I loved House of the Dead Overkill. Darkbreaker was one of my favorites on PS3. I played a lot of House of the Dead. Dreamcast was the first console I saved up for and bought with my own money. Nice. I just realized I haven't watched Anthropophagus in like 20 years. Now I know what to watch after dinner tonight. There you go. You had a Dreamcast as well, Deadwalk, for House of the Dead. My PlayStation 3 was for House of the Dead Overkill. That was a great fucking game. Typing of the Dead, yes, Dead End. I actually have Typing of the Dead. If you guys have a PC and want a fun little game that plays homage to House of the Dead, do Typing of the Dead. It'll definitely get you better at typing. 100%. I'd be down to watch more zombie stuff outside of The Walking Dead. Yeah, The Walking Dead is okay, but yeah. PS3 version had extra levels compared to the Wii version. Yes, I still own my PlayStation 3. Hello, Speedy Misha. How are you? Good morning. Joe D'Amato doesn't get enough love these days. No, but a lot of Italian directors do not get a lot of love these days. Walking Dead is still a thing. I don't know if it's still a thing. I think it's Typing of the Dead, I believe, is still available. I have it, actually. Maybe we'll do that one day on stream. We'll do Typing of the Dead. I never got big into The Walking Dead. I got into The Walking Dead for, I think, for season 1 up until about season 6, and then I dropped out. Yeah. But it's definitely a good game. Let's see.
ReAnimateHer!
Oh, there's a lot of spin-offs. I know I'm drifting. I really need to stop drifting. Thank you very, very, very much. Now, if you guys are wondering what zombie films were in Shaun of the Dead, we have quite a few of them that are in here. There is also a scene that really tickled Romero after the fact because he did not realize it was a scene in one of his movies. Unless they do straight giallo, then they get worshipped in horror circles. Yeah. Yeah, Monkey, I do. I have a problem. I own pretty much every console. I own every console. I know. Okay, so
almost every hand you've ever shaken.
All right, back into Shaun of the Dead. So Romero was watching Shaun of the Dead, and there's a part where he goes, "We're coming to get you, Barbara," where Ed, played by Nick Frost, says, "We're coming to get you, Barbara," when Shaun was trying to get his mom, right? So you guys remember that part. Romero was watching the film and was oblivious to the fact that was a direct lift from his movie Night of the Living Dead. He later found out in a conversation with Edgar Wright. Yeah. So Night of the Living Dead, if you haven't seen that either, it started the zombie genre, and it started Romero's ghouls, because in Night of the Living Dead, Romero never mentions zombies, ghouls, the undead, so forth and so on, and this is what started the zombie genre. Yes, you can say you had White Zombie from back in the day, I believe 1932. However, that was a different kind of zombie and based on the Haitian zombies, not actual dead, come alive again, reanimated zombies. So Night of the Living Dead played a really big role in Shaun of the Dead as well. And when Shaun is heading, like I said earlier, he's heading to the shop for the first time. A worker on the street is listening to the radio. And if you listen to that radio and the newscast, it definitely tells you that something broke up over the UK. So it says basically, the newscast mentions a space probe that unexpectedly re-enters the Earth's atmosphere and broke up over England. If you have seen Night of the Living Dead, you'll notice that this is a reference to that, which radiation from the satellite returning from Venus was given a possible cause for the dead returning back to life. But in Shaun of the Dead, it never actually expresses or states the fact that this was why the zombie invasion happened. But if you listen to it again, if you watch Shaun of the Dead, listen to it when he goes to the shop for the first time, you're going to hear the newscaster speaking about this. And now John and Bernie run the Winchester. The Winchester is like one of the biggest things in this film. These are real names of the landlord and landlady who used to run Simon Pegg's local pub called the Shepherd's in Highgate. Yeah. The Shepherd in Highgate is an actual pub. John used to make toasted sandwiches for the regulars, hence the reference to the Breville out back. Pegg and Nick Frost were regular attendees of the Shepherd's Thursday night quiz, hence the line, "We do the quiz." And Shaun is knocking on the Winchester door. So that is another little thing that you'll see if you're rewatching a Shaun of the Dead, which I think everybody should rewatch Shaun of the Dead. Let's see where I just lost myself here. Okay, so Nick Frost, Ed, allegedly kept his genitals shaved throughout the production to create a genuine need to scratch that the character demanded. Yeah, I read that. I was giggling to myself because that's not a very well-known piece. I actually found that little tidbit in an interview between Simon and Nick. And according to him, allegedly, he kept it shaved. So he has that gritty scratch that the character demanded. Right? That is real commitment. That is fucking dedication. That is definitely dedication to his bit. Shaving that area always leaves one so itchy. Now, a lot of what you see in Shaun of the Dead, as well as in the characters, everybody that you've seen in Shaun of the Dead passing by, his friend that's leading her own survivors, all of that you see, they're also characters. They were also zombies later on in the film. I don't know if you guys caught that, but they definitely were. There are several people that you see throughout the film that play regular people that are maybe a passerby or doing something in the film. They are also zombies. Hi, Tater. How are you? Let me just see here. Zombie corpses all over the street. Okay. You guys remember the scene where Shaun is walking to the corner shop? This is now when the zombie apocalypse is upon us. And he doesn't notice any of the zombies in the streets, the corpses that are all over the floor. That scene was shot in one long, unbroken take. So if you ever wonder why it went so nice and smooth, that he's walking to the shop, there are dead bodies on the side, there are corpses, there's a bride eating somebody, and all of that, that was one long shot. That's why it was so seamless and so smooth. In the United Kingdom, this movie made, actually worldwide, it made $30 million, not US dollars, in British money, and it was about 4 million to make. 4 million pounds to make, and they grossed over 30 million worldwide. I think that is pretty awesome to know that that's not a lot of money if you think about it. 4 million. In either money, American money or in the British pound, is still not a shit ton of money. There is also a scene where you see Shaun running through to Liz's flat, and they're all carrying some kind of weapon, but Shaun actually hits, but only Shaun actually hits a zombie. Everybody else was running around with real weapons. Those were real things. The only one that was actually carrying a fake weapon, which was a padded weapon, was Shaun, and that is why he was the only one that actually hits one of the zombies. If anybody else was to hit one of the zombies, they would have actually hurt the extras playing the zombies if they were hit. So that's why if you ever notice that he's the only one hitting zombies, nobody else actually hits them. And I noticed that of my millionth retake, my millionth watch of Shaun of the Dead. Heavy and I were doing a double feature, and I'm watching and I'm looking at the cast in the background, and I've noticed not one person besides Shaun actually hits anybody. So I went to my computer and I typed that all out, and I found that little tidbit of information that you never noticed that before. When you're watching it, when you're watching the movie again, because I know some of you will, instead of watching Simon Pegg, Shaun himself, watch the people around him. And you'll see that they don't hit anybody. They'll make movements, but they don't actually hit the zombies. And Shaun is the only one that hits the zombies because he's the only one carrying a fake weapon. And that only caught me. I only knew that because, again, I was watching it for the millionth time. And when I watch things, when I see them over and over again, I'm never really focusing in on the main characters anymore because I know what's happening. So I'm always looking at the things that you don't see during your first, maybe second or third time watch of the film, is I'm always watching the supporting cast and what they're doing. And that's what made me write this down. And I'm like, I need to know why they're not hitting anybody, because he's the only one that's actually out there smacking people. Everybody else is not. So keep that in mind. We also know that Shaun has a nickname that his mother calls him. That's why you always rewatch. I always rewatch movies. I watch, especially if I love them. If I didn't like them and they weren't for me, I still rewatch it because there's something to offer. I think every movie has something to offer. When I love a movie, I will watch it numerous times. Like, I love Shaun of the Dead. I can't tell you how many times I've rewatched Shaun of the Dead. And Pickle, exactly, babe. Pickle is a real nickname. So in this movie, Shaun's mother calls him Pickle, and apparently that's not just something the filmmakers made up. Edgar Wright's own mother called him that as a boy, apparently while she taught some of his classes at school, so he was embarrassed quite a bit because she would call him Pickle. And that's why Shaun, if you remember, Shaun kind of gets a little like when he's around everybody and she calls him Pickle. Make sure you pick that one out as well. Such great times at the Winchester. Exactly, zombie. How are you? Now, you remember in Shaun of the Dead?
Benefits are great, but the screamiums will kill you.
Thank you so very much for your 41-month resub. Mwah, I greatly appreciate it. Thank you, thank you. I hope you're feeling better, Ake. Heard you weren't feeling all that well. Now, in the movie, Shaun berates Ed for calling the creatures zombies. You remember that? He is like, why do you call them that? Don't call them zombies. This alludes to the, of course, curious fact that many of the most iconic zombie movies, including Night of the Dead in 1968, Resident Evil in 2002, never use the words zombie. And it also can be referenced to Danny Boyle, director of 28 Days Later in 2002, and his insistence that it isn't a zombie movie, which is what he does say. So Danny Boyle does say that it is not a zombie movie because they are not zombies. We don't use the Z word. The word zombie can be highly offensive to our undead. But yeah, in a lot of these zombie films, they're not called zombies. Romero started it off by calling them ghouls. They were never called zombies. And the same thing, Resident Evil doesn't call them zombies, but they are, in all the technical term, zombie. Anything reanimated, right? Frankenstein's monster. definitely a zombie, reanimated, made with dead people's bodies and body parts stitched together and reanimated by electricity. So yes, technically a zombie. And in Romero's films, they ate everything, not just the brains. In later zombie films that later on come out, because of Night of the Living Dead, they eat brains, right? We know this. We know in a lot of the TV series, they eat brains. So Dr. West made zombies. Celtic, technically, yes. Anything reanimated is a zombie. You can even say vampires, because you have to be dead in order to become a vampire, right? You get bit by a vampire. The lore goes, your body gets infected with a virus that the vampire has. Your body slowly dies. Your heart is no longer beating. You are dead. Then you come back to life. You're reanimated by the vampire virus in the blood, and you become a undead vampire. Fuck off with the deadite bullshit, because he's not a fucking deadite. He's a revenant zombie. And every time I hear that he's a fucking deadite, I want to kick people in the dick. And I will go down fighting on this fucking hill that Jason Voorhees is not a deadite. I want to be a vampire. You can technically argue that vampires are zombies. You can. And zombies are zombies, because even in, let's say, I Am Legend, which is a remake of The Last Man on Earth. I Am Legend, basically vampiric zombies made with a cure for cancer, a vaccine for cancer that actually fucking loses it, and it turns people into these vicious monsters. They can all be considered undead. Last Man on Earth. I love Last Man on Earth. I love that movie. I definitely need to do some Charlton Heston Coffee Chat of Horrors. So that's coming up in the new year. We will be doing Soylent Green, The Last Man on Earth, Omega Man. Last Man on Earth is a Vincent Price. The very original is Vincent Price. But the Omega Man is a remake of that as well with Charlton Heston. And then you have I Am Legend, which is another remake of the original film, The Last Man Standing. The Last Man on Earth. Yeah. Soylent Green. Soylent Green is about eating people, which, nourishment. I'm not against cannibalism. I'm really not. Anyways, let's get back to, we don't use the Z word. But yeah, let's get back to Shaun of the Dead. We're just about done with Shaun of the Dead. You love the short story version of I Am Legend? Yeah, there's actually, I did a CCOH on it. I don't know if it's up on my YouTube channel. There's quite a few CCOHs that never made it to YouTube. Hey, Batman. Yeah, I still have a couple that haven't made it over, but we're probably gonna redo them as well. No, the government and Hitler's scientists created zombies.
Almost every hand you've ever shaken.
There's a whole huge story about that. Anyways, the conclusion of Shaun of the Dead continues to captivate audience with its blend of wit and horror. Like I said, the beautiful mixing of horror and comedy is perfect in Shaun of the Dead. They have really crafted it perfectly. Not many films can do this, and that's why most horror comedies do not take off. There's very few horror comedies that actually take off, and that is Scary Movie. And Scary Movie is a golden ticket in the horror comedy, because they do it right as well. After 2, it gets a little shaky, but Scary Movie does it. Tucker and Dale vs. Evil. There are numerous films that go blend of horror and comedy, but the majority of the horror comedies kind of do fall flat, because it's usually one or the other, because it doesn't mix well together. It really did thread the needle. It did, Dahi. It really did. Now, for a lot of the behind the scenes stuff, a lot of the stuff was practical effects. So the blood that you see, the things that the zombies were eating were actually different kinds of food, from fruit to meat that you see eating. All the blood, hiccups, are fake blood. march their own rainbow roads, and that they do. So I really do hope you enjoyed my Shaun of the Dead insight here, because I think it really did a great job with the blend of horror and comedy. I think it was a cleverly crafted comedy in the face of a zombie apocalypse. That is what I have for you guys today on Shaun of the Dead. There was quite a bit of information out there, but I did have to watch the director's cut. I did have to watch a couple of interviews with Simon Pegg, Edgar Wright, and with Nick Frost. Thank you very much, Deadwalk. Thank you very, very much. Now you guys can ask questions if you want about it, and we can get off topic, because basically CCOH for Shaun of the Dead is done. If you guys are interested in another CCOH, I will be doing them in January. If you want to comment or post in the Discord a upcoming CCOH feature, please let me know. I do TV shows and movies in the horror sci-fi realm. So thank you. So if it's like the Outer Limits, the X-Files, put it in there. What We Do in the Shadows. These are all upcoming CCOHs that will be planned for the year. I'm actually going to be sending a list to Reaper, letting him know what we're going to be doing. I'm glad you guys enjoyed the deep dive into Shaun of the Dead. It took me a little bit to create because I had to rewatch some things and pull some stuff. Lament, how are you? Gorgeous. How are you doing? If you did miss today's live taping of Shaun of the Dead, I will be doing an edited version, CCOH, also a short podcast version of Shaun of the Dead, which I'll be recording later today. And we do have an ad here popping right up. Very informative deep dive. Thanks, Ra. You are so welcome. Let's hit our just chatting scene here now. I have to tune in more often. So Dracos, Coffee Chat of Horrors will be coming back full time come January 2024. So our very first CCOH of the new year will be coming to you on the 7th of January. And then it'll be on the 7th, the 14th, the 21st, and the 28th. So every Sunday from here on in at 11 a.m. Mountain Time, you should go find Timon. For sure, I'll have lots of things to watch out for when I watch it again. Yes, definitely keep an eye on. So if you are going to watch Shaun of the Dead again, for whatever time you're going to watch it, keep an eye on the other people around them. Try not to focus on Simon, on Shaun or Ed, because you already know what they're about. Look at the things around them, the people around them, because they do things in this movie. I could pull out so many other little things out of the film, but definitely watch it. I heard that someone who eats pussy is going to visit. Ra, was Forey Electronics, the store Shaun worked for, a nod at the Dawn of the Dead actor Ken Forsey? Yes, and I should have said that. I had that in my notes, but I didn't even go over it. I think I missed a few things, Deadwalk, in my notes because I was trying to read it and then I got off topic and then I scrolled down. But there was a lot of Dawn of the Dead in Shaun of the Dead. I don't know if you guys caught that when you watched it, but Dawn of the Dead was huge in Shaun of the Dead, as well as Night of the Living Dead. There was also a Judgment Day reference as well, Dahi. Yes. Yeah, it was fun deep diving into Shaun of the Dead. I learned a lot about Simon. And Nick Frost's friendship. Their friendship was pretty cool. They actually lived together for a little bit as well. They did a lot of stuff going together. Like I said, the Highgate pub, Shepherd's Highgate pub, that was a regular thing for Nick and Shaun. When they met a while back, again, like I said, Nick was a waiter, and that's how him and Shaun actually created their friendship. Then he had him on the TV show Spaced as a small part. They lived together. They actually did things together. They played video games together. And I thought it was really cool to see their friendship blossom into where it is now, because those two are literally amazing together on screen. So, Slow zombies. About his slow zombies. Simon Pegg believes that zombies should be slow and that they're dead. He was asked in an interview about fast zombies or slow zombies, and he prefers slow zombies because you're dead. Which I agree. Fast zombies, I can see because they are injected with some type of chemical, something like in 28 days later. That I can see for sure being a fast zombie, technically a fast zombie. But anything returning from the dead, especially in like Night of the Living Dead, none of his zombies ran. You notice that, right? In Night of the Living Dead, they came up from under the ground. And they were slow moving zombies. Resident Evil zombies aren't zombies either. They're also chemically induced zombies. Umbrella, right? I Am Legend. I know they can be considered vampiric zombies or monsters per se. They are also genetically modified. They are science involved. The T virus in Resident Evil. Yeah. So you can argue the fact that there are subculture inside of zombie films, which there really is, because you do have a lot of zombie films that have different types of zombies. The zombie lore is really all over the place, just like with the vampiric lore. You want a friendly kitty zombie? That's why my very first sub badge, when you guys first subscribed to me, is a zombie kitty. Because who doesn't want a zombie kitty? Right? Yeah. I really do like Shaun of the Dead. It's one of my favorites. And then a Monster High. They do have a zombie kitty. Well, they have a monster kitty in Monster High, if I remember. Hot Fuzz was really good. Did somebody say murder? Well, yeah, Hot Fuzz and World's End in Shaun of the Dead is the Cornetto trilogy, right? If you ever heard of Shaun of the Dead or any of the 3 movies called the Cornetto trilogy, it's because of the Cornetto ice cream, the strawberry Cornetto ice cream that is mentioned in all 3 films. Hence why they're mentioned the Cornetto trilogy. You have Shaun of the Dead as the first, and then you have World's End and Hot Fuzz. They're all 3 are connected. They're all connected. And World's End is more of a sci-fi horror than anything. Pet Sematary Kitty. Yeah, the Pet Sematary Kitty. I have that in my collection over there. Hold on. We're talking about zombie kitty farts. We are. Deadwalk is. Watch out for those zombie kitten farts, though. Ooh, they would have to be pretty vicious. I love how the zombies have their own language. Yep. They... Hot Fuzz, the staple scene. Oh, the steeple scene with the certain person who I won't name. Spoilers was great. Oh, yes. Yes, it was. I know what scene you're talking about. Definitely a good scene. 2 of my goddaughters love the dolls. My daughters love the living Monster High dolls as well. I was going to say Living Dead dolls. They love the Living Dead dolls as well, but the Monster High cartoons, I remember when they came out. My spawns had them. The elder spawn had a lot of them, the Monster High. She was a huge Monster High fan.
To see what your insides look
What was
like.
that zombie movie where the zombies didn't realize they were zombies and their perspective was that people were just attacking them or running randomly? You're not talking about, were they, that's not Fido. Fido was more of, was it Fido? That sounds familiar, She Kratos. But I don't know. No, it's not Fido. Yeah. Warm Bodies? Was it a newer one? I'm trying to think. No. Was it a romantic zombie film? I was going to say Warm Bodies at first, but I'm not sure if it's Warm Bodies she was talking about. Older. All right, let's Google because I am not zombie film where zombies zombies. No, zombies. That's it. Zombies. That is an underrated film from 2007. Zombie is great, but they know they're zombies. Zombies. That is it. You know what? Basically, Lament, a lot of horror movies can be considered romantic. This is my handy dandy notebook. So, yes, I wanted to rewatch that because it was so different. Yes, Zombies is definitely a league of its own, and it's an underrated zombie film. And I say that because most of us haven't remembered it or haven't seen it. So I am going to write this down for a CCOH. Where's my fucking pen? I should use my, you guys should see my pen. It's a Frankenstein's monster pen that you can press the buttons in the back and he punches, or he one-hand punches. Yeah. Dollar store. Fucking love the dollar store. But we are going to do a CCOH on Zombies. I think what we're going to do is, I think January's theme will be zombies. I think we'll have a theme every month. Maybe. We'll see. I'm not quoting me on that there. So we have Zombies written down in our handy dandy notebook for one of our upcoming coffee chat of horrors, because I think that would be a great one. How many people here have seen Zombies? Yeah, Rock'em Sock'em Zombie Pen. It's basically what that is. Another dollar store treasure like the blood mask. Yeah, my blood mask that hangs up right over there. I love this. This is my other dollar store find. It's blood. I know you can't see it in the black and white. Hold on, let me just go up here and scroll. I missed some stuffs. I love the movie and the book, and yeah, Warm Bodies is a zombie version of Romeo and Juliet. That it is. Have you seen Peelers? Yes, I have. That's the zombie strippers. Zach O'Green, good morning. How are you? Thank you very much. I love it. Tromeo and Juliet will always be I agree with you. I fucking love Tromeo and Juliet. Tromeo and Juliet is a trauma fun film. If you haven't seen it, it's trauma. You have to like trauma in order to enjoy it. I get my own month on my birthday month. There you go, Zombie Nation. Yeah. I am going to rewatch it actually Thursday night in the Discord. Our last movie. Wait, hold on. Let me just see when our last movie night is before I go on a Christmas break. So our last movie night will be, before I go on Christmas break, will be Thursday night. This Thursday, we will watch Zombies in the Discord. So if you are wanting to join us for movie night, you definitely can be. I am going on a Christmas break from the 23rd of December to the 30th. So I will not be streaming. I will be in the Discord. However, I will not be streaming. My first stream back will most likely be on the 1st. We are also having our Krampus holiday festivities happening in the Discord on the Friday night, the 22nd. I'm good. Helping my mom ring in her 67th birthday today. Happy born day, Mom. Trauma is really trauma is their own genre, Gen X. Easily their own genre. And it's one of my favorite films one of my most favorite trauma films is Poltergeist Night of the Chicken Dead. I fucking love that film. It offends everybody and I just love it. And has some really cool friggin' scenes with practical effects in it. I did a CCOH deep dive into Poltergeist Night of the Chicken Dead, and I think I'm going to have to do another one. Trauma equal love. Yeah, Lament. Heavy does not like trauma. You haven't seen zombies in a long time. Underrated zombie film. Hence why we didn't think of it, Deadwalk. We thought about all the ones that we've seen quite a few times, right? One of the only things I miss about Twitter is I was one of the 150-ish people Lloyd Kaufman followed back. He follows me. He actually retweets my stuff, Gen X. I hate you both so much. The Toxic Avenger. Yeah. Yeah, I know Uncle Lloyd, he retweets some of my stuff. So who's excited for the new Toxic Avenger movie? I'm going to see it. I'm on the fence, but I will see it. Poltergeist is a masterpiece. Steve, it is a masterpiece. Who doesn't love Poltergeist, Night of the Chicken Dead? If you haven't seen Poltergeist, Night of the Chicken Dead, people, do yourself a favor. If you enjoy trauma, if you don't enjoy trauma, you will not enjoy trauma films. Heavy does not like Night of the Chicken Dead. I don't understand. The title alone is amazing. Exactly, Deadwalk. Exactly. Poltergeist, Night of the Chicken Dead. That is how I came up with the chickening or the cluckening, my own little horror movie that would be fucking trauma. It would be a trauma film. It's of a murderous black chicken. Surf Nazis Must Die is your favorite trauma?
To see what
That's
your
a classic.
insides look like.
I'm going to see the new Toxic Avenger out of obligation. I'm going to see the new Toxic Avenger myself. What is trauma? Oh my God, trauma. She Kratos, you haven't seen trauma? All right. We're going to have to do trauma night. We're going to have to do trauma night in the Discord. That's just going to have to happen. Blood-sucking freaks, trauma. One of the first trauma films out there. Heavy doesn't love Poltergeist. No, he does not. No, not at all. Trauma has a bunch of their movies up for free on YouTube. Yes, but if you love trauma, then you will have the Trauma Now app. If you do not know what the Trauma Now app is, you are truly missing out on some trauma epicness. Trauma has its own app. You can get it on the Fire Stick. You can get it on your PC. And it's $5 a month, just as much as a membership for Shudder. However, it's just trauma. One of my really good friends, Fantastico, is on there with his show that he does, but there's a lot of trauma on the Trauma Now app. I would highly suggest it if you are a trauma fan. And if you haven't gotten it and you're a trauma fan, what the fuck are you waiting for? I love that shit. Okay, so Chi Kratos. Trauma is an independent film production company created by Mike Hertz and Uncle Lloyd Kaufman. And it was created back in the early 70s. It's an independent film company, basically started because independent films got pushed down. It was really hard for independent films to make it out there. Half the time they had no distribution, they had nobody to back them up, no producers. So Uncle Lloyd, and we call him Uncle Lloyd because everyone call him that. He started this with Mike Hertz. Now it's just mainly Uncle Lloyd Kaufman. And 1972 was basically one of the first trauma films, was Blood-Sucking Freaks. Blood-Sucking Freaks is a great movie. If you haven't seen it, check it out. And it's not going to be for everybody. Trauma is low-budget film. And I mean very low-budget film. Everything you see is practical effects. There is not one iota of friggin' CGI. And it's great. Cannibal, the musical, is amazing. Trauma's own comedy musical by the makers of South Park. Yes, Cannibal, the musical, is awesome. I only like very few musicals. Repo, the Genetic Opera, The Rocky Horror Picture Show, and Cannibal, the musical. But yes, the trauma night would be rad. Yeah, I think we should do a trauma night then. Trauma, like Evil Dead level cousin of... You know what? Let's go find a trailer. Hold on. Let me go and find you a trailer. Yeah, it's better. It's better than that, She Kratos. It is definitely better. We're going to go and get Poltergeist. And I'll show you what I mean. Raw Cereal wants you to watch Zombie Ass. I know. Let's see what this... Let me see if I can play this. Okay, yes, I can. Okay, this is going to give you an idea, Kratos, of what we are discussing. All right, give me a second here to capture this. Wait, bitch, nobody told you to start. Let's just add that. Let's add it to the second monitor. Okay. This is one of my favorites. I'm going to make it louder just so you guys can hear it. I don't know why it was low during the CCOH, but here we go.
You're sitting at home and your stomach is bubbling. No food in the fridge and your hunger is growing. You hop in your car and head straight to get drive-through. Murder with fries is described as fast food. To be baked and broiled, thrown in a pan to be fried in some oil.
You swallow it down with a smile on your face.
Little did you know there's an F on this plate. You better run, 'cause this is poultry, guys.
Spooky, scary skeletons and shivers down your spine. Shrieking skulls will shock your soul and seal your doom tonight.
Ignore that. Thank you, Zach. Thank you for the super sticker.
Don't kill little baby chickens. Be nice. Ain't trying to find a brand new solution. Zombie chicken retribution. You're all gonna die. Poultry guys. Keep killing this is poultry guys.
Unfortunately, there are no real full-on trailers. This is the made trailer that they created for it. But Poultrygeist Night of the Chicken Dead, that kind of gives you an idea of what it's like. It is a fan trailer. They do have a red band trailer, but it has some stuff I can't show you. That's why I didn't play the red band trailer. But it's a trauma film, so be prepared for all of the nakedness. Because trauma is equal opportunity, definitely equal opportunity maker when it comes to, when it comes to having nudity. Yes. Yeah, you just watched the movie like 2 weeks ago. Yeah. Zach, thank you for the super sticker over on YouTube. I appreciate it. The fellas hanging hog, that's what you're saying. Oh, yeah, you're going to see schlong. You're going to see it's all in all its glory because they are an equal opportunity. So if you've never seen a trauma film, be prepared. Tromeo and Juliet will make that very aware for you. Mm-hmm. And yeah, Poltergeist Night of the Chicken Dead is not a musical. However, it does have scenes of music in it. So if you're not a fan of musicals, there are a couple of scenes that have it in here. This movie offends everybody on every level, like every level. Anything you can think of that's offensive, this movie does it. And the funny part is about Poltergeist Night of the Chicken Dead. When they were making this film, Uncle Lloyd Kaufman is always in every one of his films. There's a scene where you see Uncle Lloyd Kaufman and the lead of this film in a Girl Scout uniform. And when he bends over accidentally, Uncle Lloyd Kaufman's balls fall out. So just picture that one. He was doing the one scene and they bend over. And of course, when they bend over in one of the scenes, his balls just come flying out of his stuff. Yeah, he does play a couple of roles in this film. Most of the time he does. Him and his wife completely backed Poltergeist. They had no producers. Him and his wife did it out of their own pocket. And they still never made the money back of how much it actually created in making that film. Finally cocking a movie. Oh, all of them, Monkey. Trauma. If you're not a fan of musicals, stop being a bitch about it and watch the movie. Yeah, the movie isn't really a musical itself. But the musical sequences in Trauma actually make sense. Actual musicals make no sense. I agree. Yep, he plays quite a few roles in many of his films. There are so many amazing musicals. Example, Rocky Horror. I fucking love Rocky Horror. Yeah. His balls do fall out. So, Sergeant Kabuki Man. Trauma films are a lot of fun. They're low budget, cheesy films with practical effects. And they don't hold back. As much as anything in Trauma makes sense. Yeah. I love musicals and opera. If you haven't seen it, it's one of my favorite films. I'm going to highly recommend it. I'm going to highly recommend it. All right, guys, it is 12:30. It is about that time. I am going to head off. We're going to do our credits and end with this. I will be live. The next time I will be live will be Wednesday night, guys. Wednesday night for Coffin Chat. Coffin Chat, we will be discussing Friday the 13th. My love for Friday the 13th.
Make your choice.
Yeah, make your choice. And we'll be talking about the copycat killer of Friday the 13th. Because yes, Jason Voorhees, the movie Friday the 13th had a copycat killer. I'm sure you probably didn't know about. However, you will come Wednesday. We will be discussing Friday the 13th and the copycat killer. I can't watch Rocky Horror anymore. Not at home, at least. Not after 600 plus live shows. I can see that. Part 5? No. A real life copycat killer, Quindy. So we're going to save that for Wednesday night. I'm not going to spoil it. Wednesday night, we'll be discussing the copycat killer of Friday the 13th. Thank you for being here, Serial. Thank you guys for coming over and hanging out. I greatly appreciate you guys being here. Why are my credits rolling? God damn it. There we go. They're fucking slow today. But thank you guys for hanging out with me. Aiko G, thank you for your 41-month resub. Mwah. If you watch me over on YouTube, be prepared for a shorter VOD as you guys get to watch the unedited version of our live, coming live to you from the murder basement. If it's the guy I'm thinking about, he was a doofus.
ReAnimateHer.
We'll discuss it on Wednesday, guys. Thank you very much, Dahi. Thank you, Steve, Deadwalk, The Dead End, Gore TV. How are you, darling? I didn't even see you there in the wall of text. Thank you guys over on the YouTube side of things, hanging out and watching with us. And thank you guys very much on the Twitch side of things, hanging out and watching CCOH. I do hope you guys enjoyed the deep dive into Shaun of the Dead. There will be a shorter version, a VOD version up on YouTube, and a edited version, just a recording on my podcast, so you guys will be able to watch it if you missed it today. A reminder that CCOH will be coming back every Sunday come January 7th of 2024. We will be here every Sunday at 11 a.m. Mountain Time. Mods, of course, thank you for what you do. Thank you for being here. And to each and every one of you, thank you for popping over here on your Sunday. You don't have to come in here, but you guys do. So I appreciate you coming over and hanging out with me on your Sunday morning. I will see you guys Wednesday night for Coffin Chat. You can catch me on YouTube and Twitch for Coffin Chat. All right, guys, I love your guts. You have yourself a great day. Thank you for everything. And I will